Today on Bell the Birdmen, the Eagles sign a small-ticket wide receiver. Also, some suspicious rumors about a quarterback target for the Eagles. And how much of a disaster has this offseason been? It's all coming from the Last Out Media Studios. But first, Taylor, hit the music!
Hello, everybody. It is Bell and the Birdmen. I'm, of course, John Barchett, along with Vince Quinn, Taylor Credatus. And Zach Pascal is saved. Free agency, everybody. A one-year deal. And, he's a really good depth pickup, guys. He's a professional wide receiver. He's a great second-wave pickup. It's basically all I'm seeing on Twitter right now. And if that sounds like you listening to this, shame on you. Like, this was one of the most obvious moves that the Eagles were going to make like 3 or 4 months ago. It's Nick Sirianni, his favorite player of all time. We've got Fletcher Cox extensions to talk about. We've got Matt Ryan situations to talk about. How is Vince Quinn feeling today?
I'm a little confused. You decided to put on sunglasses, so I decided to put on sunglasses. We are indoors, by the way. Now Taylor's got his sunglasses on. We're the new Blues Brothers. We started a new band. We have a whole vibe. We're doing every show in sunglasses now. It's our new bit.
Because we're depressed. I think that's why. I mean, that's why I did it. I'm depressed because Zach Pascal's here.
I just kind of thought it was funny. But you should. Here's the one level of excitement that I can give you.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Zach Pascal experience.
Yes.
J-Jaw is gone.
Hey, there we go.
He's a dead man walking. There's just no way. Like, everything I read about Zach Pascal, this guy can block. I watched his highlights. I could hear the announcer, this guy, he can block. So, yeah, JJ, we're actually going to replace him with a guy who can block and catch passes.
Is Mac Hollins a better replacement than Zach Pascal?
Oh, God. I think...
Because isn't that who they just signed? They basically just signed Mac Hollins, right? Just a slightly older version.
Yeah,
of Matt Collins.
It's kind of like yes and no, right? It's the same caliber of player.
Great special teamer.
Zach Pascal does a lot of like the short, over the middle stuff, slants, drags, crosses,
boring stuff.
Yeah, he's doing things that Jalen Hurts can't throw. The things that he can't throw, and we can talk more.
That makes me feel better.
There's some Jalen Hurts stuff that we do have to talk about later.
Yeah,
but with all of that, yeah, I'll say this. One, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is definitely a dead man walking. It's over. It's done. There's no way he's coming back. And two, it is shaping up at this point where I think Rager's going to get cut too.
Interesting. Right before we started recording, Rube said he'd probably be buried on the depth chart, if not gone, but more than likely Jalen Reagor is still here, which I thought was a little bit surprising.
Yeah, you might as well get rid of him. What's the point? Like, you haven't signed anybody. You're not going anywhere. Let's be real, folks. This is a rebuilding year now. It is. It is. They wanted to be big-time contenders. They wanted to be big shots. You go in on Russ, he says no. You go in on Watson, he says no. It is what it is. That Marcus Williams, no. Allen Robinson, no. That's it. That was your team. That's a Super Bowl caliber roster if you're landing some collection of those guys. Now you're a big-time player. You're not a big-time player anymore.
Yeah, I'm not buying into the Eagles. They're being really smart in free agency or any of this stuff. They're just, like you said, they're getting hammered with every passing day. Just one more toe with the hammer.
Yeah.
Bang. Ow. Mike, I didn't get the quarterback I wanted. Bang, Allen Robinson, L.A. Bang, it's all, And now you're forced to sign Fletcher Cox at $14 million. Welcome back, Fletcher.
Yeah, and he's forced to sign back with us. You know what I mean? Because he didn't want this. He's taking this because this was the easiest option available for the most money.
I think they paid him. They paid him the most, and I think we're about dead on where his market would have been set, somewhere between like $10 and $12 million on the open, so they pay him to what a ridiculous amount of drama for all that too, right? For all the last podcasters were freaking out, and now we have Zach Pascal and Fletcher Cox back where they're supposed to be, and Matt Ryan's heading to the Colts too today, as that's all happening. Marcus Mariota gets inked immediately, and he's the starter with the Falcons. Baker Mayfield is hanging out 3 sheets to the wind, I'm assuming, on a day like today and trying to figure out where he's going next. But
putting his middle name on statements.
yeah,
Wait, what's his middle name?
I forget what it was, but he did full name on his little tweet
did.
statement.
Oh, that's right. He did.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did.
I don't want Baker Mayfield anywhere near here.
No.
But apparently, here's something we've got to clear up this week. And when you say that, like, you know, the Eagles are kind of in this rebuilding mode or whatever, I don't know if I'm there yet in a complete rebuilding whatever.
Yeah.
I just don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're up to. I can't assume that this is going well, though. Just like we were saying, it's been 4 days since basically the last podcast. It's still not going well.
No, this is a disaster right now for them.
Yes, this is really bad.
This is massively bad. I mean, it's because, again, it's all these expectation of big moves and the whole vision of where this team could be. You won a playoff game or you got to the playoffs. You want to make this leap. You're going to go for this high-level talent and take over the weak NFC. Tom Brady comes back. Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay. Nobody signs with you. You're fucked. Like, they're fucked right now, okay? You can draft a lot of young guys and play them out and see where it goes, but this is shaping up to be a rebuilding transition year, and you just kind of roll the dice.
And here's something that I found pretty interesting over this whole, because everything just moved so quickly in the last 48 hours with QB carousel stuff. So we saw our old friend Elliot Shore-Parks during the mayhem tweet something out like, don't count
out Matt Ryan to the Eagles or something like that. Yeah.
And you're going, well, that's just ESP being ESP, and maybe you just thought of an idea. And then I got a text an hour later, and I need help with this because this is either bad information or the Eagles are once again looking in certain places. So we see that. We all have a good laugh or be like, oh, that would be weird. And then from an agent friend of mine texted us saying, hey, buckle up. Ryan to Philly, Hurts to Indianapolis, Watson to Atlanta. And I'm going, no, that can't be right. Like that's just probably telephone agents hear a lot of things. There's a lot of misinformation out there to try and get somebody to sign, not sign, whatever it is. But like you put that with what Elliot tweeted out, and I wonder if there is something on the other side that he was hearing as well. Like, why else would you say don't take the Eagles off of Matt Ryan here? Was that a report or was that an opinion? And if I got to say that it was a little bit of both, whatever agent friend texted us was right along the lines with that. I don't know. I think the Eagles might have been in on Matt Ryan.
Well, and if the Eagles
or asked or had some discussion along with, or help me out there.
Well, yeah, if the Eagles were in on Matt Ryan, first off, ew, gross. Okay, at this point, ew, gross.
I don't know if it's
hometown guy.
Yeah, there we go.
Come on.
We're building an all Philly guy
theme
team.
of the offseason. Yeah.
There we go. We're going to bring Brian Dawkins back to play safety at this point because they couldn't sign anybody. So he'll play at 50 years old.
They're going to throw cheesesteaks instead of footballs.
That's
there
right.
we go.
That's right.
And everybody's going to say John in their press conferences.
Yeah,
Corey Clement, come on back.
Every player isn't going to have their last name. It's just going to say John on the back. So, yeah, we're going full Philly this year because you got to go deep on the brand if you're not going to have any actual talent that you add. So, no, but if they're going and looking at Matt Ryan, I mean, look, is Matt Ryan better than Jalen Hurts? Absolutely. But also, he's like 38 and who gives a shit? Like, if you're the Colts, it makes sense because, all right, you're trying to get that guy. This is a worse version of Phillip Rivers, basically, or a similar version of Phillip Rivers all over again. That's okay. For them, it tracks. You're trying to fill the gap and make it work. If you're the Eagles, if you're there for a whole offseason, and you especially, sir, in this no, they love Jalen. Didn't you hear Howie Roseman at the Combine? They love Jalen.
First of all,
if they're trading for Matt Ryan, they do not love him.
Not what I said at all. I said if they're announcing that at the press conference, obviously they know they can't get Wilson or whatever, and that's why you come out and have those things and say those things today. I've never believed them once that it was, hey, they're moving forward. Everybody said keep an eye open. They say this shit all the time, and it seems like that's partially true. Whether they picked up the phone just to see if Matt Ryan was available, or like because Watson was there, they didn't mind trading to an NFC team at the time because they have Deshaun Watson, and who cares? It's Matt Ryan. But to your point, though, here's what I will say is why I think it might have a little legs. Matt Ryan's the best quarterback in this division, or pretty close to, if you go out and get him for a third-round pick Or if the Eagles were wearing, maybe in that scenario, the Eagles are wearing the pay a little more, like a second-round pick or whatever it is. But I don't know. Maybe it's all bullshit, too. I just know that this is what it tells me throughout this entire process of the offseason. If you think that the Eagles are done at quarterback, you're kidding yourself. If they couldn't land Wilson, if they couldn't land Watson, if they're thinking or entertaining Matt Ryan in a scenario where they could go do that and then go draft another quarterback, they're taking another quarterback, Vince. And if I had to line up everything on what they truly and really want, and I don't know if you saw this tweet, Daniel Jeremiah hinted at this a little bit. We all know he's good friends with Howie Roseman. He's saying this in general with all the different QB carousel stuff going on, but everyone looked at the Bills and Chiefs game from last year, and DJ basically said, if you were one of the owners or GMs who saw that game and asked yourself the question, is my quarterback good enough to go and do that right now or to even compete with that? Seems like the Eagles have said no.
And they're right.
Like they have said no, and it has convinced me that they're going to do one of two things. One, Desmond Ridder, 15, 16, or 19, or put that together and let's go get Malik. I think Malik Willis is absolutely a possibility for the Eagles to go up and draft however this shakes out. And if Baker Mayfield can go to Seattle and almost solidify that, because there has been some rumors like Seattle and Baker as an alternative, I think that's the time that they go and do it. They are drafting a quarterback, and they might be trading up for one.
Can you imagine?
You better buckle up.
Can you imagine the Eagles trading up from, the mid-teens up to number 2, perhaps, for a quarterback from a smaller school that, you know what I mean? It's like, okay.
That's very familiar.
It does sound pretty damn familiar. Maybe this is Carson Wentz all over again.
It has to be, in my opinion.
If it's Matt Ryan, again, like Matt Ryan really changes everything for me. Because at some level, it's like, all right, do they not believe in Jalen Hurts? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But there's some validity to let's ride it out for another year and see same consistency, improve the weapons, whatever, what can he do? But when you're going to look at Matt Ryan, come on, like, where are you going? Where's the long-term?
You're going to win the division.
But for what? For what,
For
though?
winning the division. Because
great.
Because according to a bunch of other analytical sites, Matt Ryan has performed the best with the least amount of help in 2021 as well, and has stayed relatively in good play.
Yeah, so, and I told all the girls in college I was a great kisser. It's whatever. Who cares? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, he's 38. What are the Eagles trading for a 38-year-old for when you've got a guy that's 23 that might be something? Like,
because he's a late day 2 pick.
Well, yeah, so they clearly they clearly don't think he's any good, and he's not going to develop. They're telling you they don't believe that Jalen Hurts is going to develop. He's not going to get much better. So,
and even if the Ryan thing isn't true, it's still I still believe that because they're in every nook and cranny of the QB market, every single piece of it. That they can say whatever they want up there. Their actions are saying something completely different.
Yeah, and this is who they've been. They've been meddlers. They've always been open to trading their quarterbacks away, and why not trade for a guy to bring him in if you can get him? So when it's an elite guy, I get it. Matt Ryan, again, it's a different bar, which now for me, I've got to reevaluate everything. Malik Willis and trading up for Malik Willis, maybe. Maybe they trade up into the top 5 and they just give up everything. Like, here's all our picks in the first round right now. You give us Malik Willis.
I'm not even sure you need to go into the top 5 for him.
Maybe not, but
like 10 to 15 is probably where you need to be, and they have plenty of ammo to move up 5 to 8 spots easily. Wouldn't you, if you're any team, wouldn't you swap 15 and 16 for pick 8, 9, 10, whatever it is?
Yeah, you could probably do that depending on what you're looking for on your team, whatever. But here's the other thing now that is so weird about all this. Like a couple of weeks ago, the idea of when Aaron Rodgers re-signed with the Packers, it was like Jordan Love to the Eagles, and everybody was like, "What?" And I was like,
"No."
Ew. And I didn't see the point really. But you know what? Now maybe he's gonna
really.
You don't think so?
What's the point of having 2 guys that can't do anything?
Well,
in your mind,
if you're trading Hurts, clear backup. And you're going, all right, here, and we'll take Jordan Love off your hands. You get rid of that whole mistake. You wipe the slate clean. It's easier with Rodgers, whatever.
Just keep Minshew here.
Maybe Hurts goes. I don't know. I'm just
you're saying Hurts, Jordan Love?
Maybe. I don't know. Anything's possible now. Anything's like literally. You could convince me on some weird universe that they put in an offer for Baker Mayfield now. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But when you go to this level where you're willing to trade for a 38-year-old, and it's when they were making these offers, right? Because the Watson stuff just happened, and that's what fused everything. So if this is true, where they were even remotely interested in replacing Jalen Hurts with Matt Ryan, you're doing that after you sign nobody. There's nobody here. This is not a contender. There's no Allen Robinson here. You know that. So you're going to go in on Matt Ryan now with this team? Who cares?
Quarterback's the number one issue until it's not.
Well, it's going to be an issue again in a year because he's 5,000 years old and he's going to turn to dust in the offseason.
What's the difference with the Eagles? They haven't had a franchise quarterback since McNabb.
And then after a year, they won't have one again. It's sand through your hands.
I don't think it. I mean, you want a franchise quarterback, but when you don't have one, you should be renting them left and right until you do.
If you have a team that's good enough to rent with, they don't have one right now.
Yes, they do.
What?
Yes, they do. This team can go to the playoffs with better QB play. I'm an insane Jalen Hurts fan. I'm not that insane. Quez Watkins TDs do happen with Matt Ryan here. You probably do have better thrown balls to Devontae Smith throughout the year. Like you have touchdown passes easily instead of red zone turnovers or field goals or misses. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think they're like the 13th best team in the AFC. You know what I mean?
Who cares? They're in the NFC. They're playing the division. They would be winning the division with Matt Ryan here. Absolutely.
They'd be competing for the division because Dallas just sucks. They just have an innate suckness about them. But Dallas is probably going to win the division when you look at what these rosters are.
No, they're not. You just said that they were in shambles a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, but the Eagles haven't done anything. I'm saying Dallas ruined their Super Bowl odds. They're not winning the Super Bowl this year. That's over. That's done with. But are they winning the division? Probably.
Probably. I don't even know now. Are they winning the division just like this, Taylor? I don't think so. If you just threw in Matt Ryan, are they a playoff contender?
Well, I mean, you love the Giants, so.
Love the Giants. Love the Giants. By the way, they just signed Matt Breida, too, by the way. So you guys just keep your seats ready.
Oh, there we go.
Quite a nice roster over there.
There's a Giants shirt underneath that half zip.
Hi.
His sunglasses are blue, too, by the way. I just want to know that.
On
Big
purpose,
blue.
too. That's right. Keep the eyes on the prize. Daniel Jones, baby. You just wait for Tyrod Taylor to take that team over and send him on down, and he'll probably be better than Matt Ryan. No, but I
will trade Jalen Hurts for Tyrod Taylor now. We have a window. We have every chance.
You don't think the Eagles are a better playoff contender with Matt Ryan at quarterback?
They're a better contender for the playoffs with Matt Ryan than Jalen Hurts, yes. But is there any point to it? Is there any long-term value? Are you better off just keeping your third-round pick? Yes.
You have
Jason.
You have Jason Kelsey making $14 million a year. You've got Fletcher Cox making $14 million a year. If you said run it back with Matt Ryan and a couple of upgrades.
They don't have the upgrades, though.
They got Zach Pascal, a professional wide receiver.
They don't have any upgrades, though.
But we're in the second phase here, Vince. They're not done. They're doing great things right now.
Yeah, we're entering the second phase, which is accepting defeat. Okay, this is the step.
I like that.
We're on the step now where you just go. They tried for everything. They desperately wanted to upgrade this roster and go for it. They knew it was a volatile market. They tried to be players. They had the picks to do it. None of those players wanted to be here, and that just collectively fucked everything. I mean, imagine how different this reality is if Russell Wilson was willing to come here. Could you imagine if he said yes? All right, does Allen Robinson sign on to this team? Probably.
Maybe.
Do you get Marcus Williams? Maybe. Like, if you're talking about Russell Wilson, Allen Robinson, Hassan Reddick even, that's a whole different game. That's a completely radically different scenario and world and level of excitement.
One of the best quarterbacks
contenders
in the world here, Vince, of course.
Yes,
Thank you for that analysis.
And you've got a professional veteran wide receiver, and he's your number two. So, like, all those things look different. But now they're not an inspiring team. They're not a great roster right now. They have an amazing offensive line. They're horribly limited. Everybody knows it.
I don't think they're that limited. Just because, like they're still limited only because of their wide receiving core, in my opinion, and their quarterback and the growth of all that. So I don't know. I think Devontae Smith is going to be a lot better in year 2 just based on his trajectory. I don't think it's nothing, man. I think they have still one of the best offensive lines. They still have a really good running game. That's good enough, man.
It's something. I mean, like, are they the worst team I've ever seen? Are they going to go like 4-13 or whatever the hell you can do in the new schedule? I think it's 4-13. There we go. No, I don't think they'll do that. They're going to be a woefully average team. And it's like, for me now, I'm thinking about, because you're talking about trading up for Malik Willis, and maybe they do that. My mind is going to trade back with 1 or 2 of these picks and add more picks. Just add all the youth you can.
Add more picks. Unbelievable.
Yes, just get youth everywhere. Let's just start rookies, safeties, and corners, and linebackers, and whatever else we decide to draft, and just let it play out and see what it is.
For a guy that wanted to boat race this entire season to go get Russell Wilson,
yes,
to go get a Super Bowl,
yes,
now you're just like, yeah, let's make those 10 picks 17. And let's just take a bunch of flyers and just go do it. Let's just do it that way.
That's exactly
Give me your best 17 shots here, gang front office that has left us. Like,
yep.
This is why I think it's going to continue to get bad. Is exactly that. Like, if you're with Vince and go draft young, what are we talking about here? 15, 16.
Yep.
19 are all not premium spots. They're all flyer spots. They're all guesses on, do you think this person's personality, athletic ability is going to be better than that? And Howie Roseman is a big goose egg when it comes to those decisions. Speaking of all the different things that we're trying to revamp right here, like I am not feeling comfortable about heading into the draft with little to no insurance policies. And I don't care how good Jordan Davis is. I don't care how good any of these other edge class, you can get some really good second round wide receivers. Not with this group. Not with Howie Roseman and missing 2 of your best personnel guys.
All right, Traylon Burks at 15. And
then what?
And then you trade
and
back.
And then when we yell at him for not being the wide receiver that the Philadelphia Eagles need, then what?
He's going to be wide receiver 2, and it'll be fine. But if you're trading back a little bit, I mean, now let's be real, right? The Howie Roseman experience. David Ojabo in the 2nd round is happening.
So it feels so bad for him. And can we just talk to first rounders at pro days now? Please and thank you. We don't need agility drills. I mean,
all that stuff
Ben
is such
McAdoo
bullshit.
today look at fucking Kenny Pickett's hand on a football. That's all you need to do.
Yeah,
Is it big enough to grip? Okay, good.
Can we find out a way where you evaluate these guys in practice during the season? Just watch them do drills then.
Yeah.
Like, why does it have to be all this off-season stuff? You've watched them in college football for 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. They've been in these systems. You can't just like see them some other time they're actually working out. Now at the highest leverage moment of their lives, it's the highest leverage moment of their lives to make money. I mean, that injury for David Ojabo cost him what, like $15 million or something?
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to lose so much
year.
money. It's devastating to lose that first-round contract. Guarantee the 5th-year option and the money that can bring you and everything.
And not to mention supposedly a big Eagles target in the draft.
Well, yeah. So now that's why it's this whole idea of this is a year now where a guy like him does make a lot of sense. Jamison Williams from Alabama had a major injury. He's a guy that makes a lot of sense because you know what? This year is all trial now. It's all trial. You throw everybody in the pool. You see who can swim.
And then what do you do at quarterback? Because you're just
somebody else.
You're not drafting a quarterback here. You're just taking players and building a team, and we'll re-rack for next year's carousel, essentially.
Well, you see what happens next year in the carousel. You see who's coming up in the draft next year. They're probably not going to win a ton of games next year, so you might be able to trade up or just naturally draft a guy wherever you sit. I mean, could the Eagles be a top 10 team in the draft next year? Yeah.
They tank.
I don't think they have to tank that hard. It's a harder schedule next year. People saw them get embarrassed in a playoff game, and they haven't gotten any better.
What's the plan? That's what I want to ask to you. What's the plan? 215-509-5833 in the Discord, which has been great over the last couple of days.
So awesome.
Like 12 or 13 new members all chopping it up in there, and this is some of the things that we're talking about because, like, it sounds like you're saying the Eagles are not a good football team.
They're an okay team. They have future pieces. They've got some bit of a core. Like, can we talk about the bullshit of like all these guys that were I would bet basically forced out of favors to go like, hey, so the Eagles said they signed Jordan Mailata and Josh Sweat and Dallas Goedert. They view that as part of the offseason. No, you did that last season or during the season. That you did not add anything. That is what the offseason is. It's additions. What do you add? What makes you better than what you were last year? Keeping the people that you drafted, which is exactly what you were supposed to do, does not make anything of this offseason whatsoever. It's a massive failure, and we all know it.
Yeah, the team improved because we signed our own guys.
Yeah, so it's just like
Okay.
It's okay. I mean, and again, it's okay because if for where you are with the quarterback stuff, they tried to get all those people. It didn't work out. Now you got to face reality. Reality is they're a young team. They got to develop a lot of pieces. You're building a whole new defensive core. Maybe they just go all in on the defense this year. Like if they do a Carolina and they draft 8 guys and they're all on defense, I mean, it's a little weird, but would I be surprised? Not really. Like they're rebuilt. There's nobody there. They're signing Anthony Harris because they've got nothing else. They don't want to bring him back.
Anthony Harris for $2.5 million in April. Not even, and we're not even to April. Like,
No one's going to come here. Tyrann Mathieu, take him off the table right now. Like that's why it's Anthony Harris, and then they're going to wait a little bit longer, and then it's going to be Rodney McLeod.
Yeah, they're running it back. Bring back Fletch, which will here. Let's touch on that as we kind of start to wrap things up here on this episode, because to me, you might be right. Maybe this whole new deal with $14 million and Fletch being here, and I that to me says they're not going to take defense a lot of the time. They're just going to keep paying like 1-year contracts to whatever holes that they need. They'll keep drafting defensive linemen. They'll probably end up, stabbing a corner or two like day 3. The 9 DBs that they have in the room, I'm sure somebody will try and pan it out. I don't think they're interested in drafting defense at all. I think if none of this is appealing to a quarterback, you better get something that is. In making a defense out of nothing or rebuilding that, I don't know. I don't think that's the way to go. I think there's more going to be Fletcher Cox type of deals with whatever that is until they're solidified with Milton Williams, until that they draft somebody new. I think Fletch is set up perfectly to either be on a run if you're wrong and for some reason and this team is a contender, then fine, you hang on to him. But if he's not, that money's going to keep going down and down and down as the year goes towards the trade deadline, and maybe ends up only being $8 or $9 or $7 million for a contender at that point in time. Is that how you view it too?
Well, yeah, I think he's a prime candidate to get moved at the deadline again because it's a 1-year deal now, so that's easy to move. And then here's the other part of this too. You mentioned the idea of trading up for Malik Willis. Maybe Fletcher Cox is part of that.
Marcus Mariota all over again.
Yeah, it is. it's Marcus Mariota, Carson
Cox,
Wentz,
and we'll include Sean Bradley and TJ Edwards and
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock for some reason is an Eagle for a second. I think that could be pretty interesting.
Right? I can see it.
Seattle needs
everything.
Seattle needs everything. Seattle needs Fletcher Cox to hang out with Baker Mayfield on a run. Right?
For example, I mean, this isn't a major thing, but like Carlos Dunlap got let go by Seattle. He's been there for a while. It's an edge guy. All right. Are they replacing that with Fletcher Cox? Maybe. They had Michael Bennett in the past. They knew the value of that. So, maybe. I mean, if you're going to make a move up like that very aggressively, maybe.
Yeah, and even if it's not as aggressive from, maybe you use pick 19 and him to jump up to somewhere that you want to go take a player at 11 or 12 or 9 or something like that as well. So
this feels so sad,
isn't it?
God, this feels so. We haven't even seen what this roster looks like, and it's sad.
It is. It feels sad. Like this is a sad roster to me, and I don't know how much of the draft is going to really take us out of that.
And it's only sadder with Drew Lock. So please stop it.
Just swap. Yeah, Hurts.
Ugh.
Hurts for Drew Lock.
Ugh.
And then you take,
some of the most unwatchable football was Denver last season.
Yeah,
that is very true.
Oh,
it
boy.
was pretty brutal at times.
Drew Lock becomes your starter for the first couple of days, and then you just throw in Malik when he's ready. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Well, it could be, but it's.
Wait, can we go back to Vince talking himself into Jordan Love?
Oh, yeah. Can we do that for a minute?
Vince walked into the bar, saw Jordan Love, said, ew, the bar closes. The last person in the bar is Jordan Love. And it's just like, well, you know what? Maybe.
Look, They don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. If the organization is that out, I'm just saying it's very possible they make an offer. Is it crazy to think that they trade for Jordan Love?
Yes. To me, yes.
I don't think so anymore. Matt Ryan changes everything. If that was a real conversation and they had real interest, Jordan Love is on the table.
You're looking at it from, Matt Ryan makes you a playoff team.
Maybe.
He does. Like I'm not gonna say that I want Matt Ryan, but I want to punch his face. Like he has a very punchable face.
Wow, you hate Philly guys, huh?
I kind of do. I've been on Breakfast on Broad when that was still around. I think I said it on the air too. Like I'm not a Matt Ryan guy for whatever, but he would definitely improve the football team from the quarterback position.
Yeah,
from what we just seen here, yes, it'd be like going from the desert to Niagara Falls.
All right. Well,
in terms of experience and placement and all this shit we want in a quarterback, like Matt Ryan's pretty good.
The safest bet.
Yeah, the safest bet.
Sure. I mean, I could get leather seats in my car, but if I'm driving my 98 Lumina still, what's the point? Like the car's going to the
Jordan
scrap
Love
heap
and
soon.
Matt Ryan are on the same playing field? Jordan Love has no idea where the football field is. Matt Ryan's
Probably
going to get
not.
into the Hall of Fame just because of dumbass yard numbers.
Because of what he did years ago. Because
Right.
he's old and declining, and
Is he better than Carson Wentz?
Probably.
Is he better than Daniel Jones?
Oh, obviously.
Is he just about as good as Dak Prescott?
Little worse.
A little worse.
He's a little worse.
But not
He's
much
definitely
worse.
worse than Dak.
Yeah,
I don't think he is.
Yeah. Oh,
No.
come on. Dak is such a better athlete. He's great on the run.
No, I would take Dak as an overall quarterback, but if you're telling me like they're so different in terms of passing, I don't
Atlanta
think they are.
sucked the last couple years, so that's part of it. But Dak's better. It's just Dallas is way better as a roster right now. As much as they've blown it and fallen apart and lost all this talent,
Well, yeah,
they're a better roster.
I'm just saying that might be true, but I don't think the quarterback talent in terms of like if Matt Ryan is here, you're competing against Dallas right now with a chance to win the division. That's why. Like that I think is there. If you're thinking young, if you're thinking like they want a Jordan Love, it's a second problem to have. They don't want that. They're looking for somebody that can make them compete right now and keep looking for something that says the future to them, to get Carson Wentz to get Russell Wilson
They missed out on all those guys that matter, though. Like, if you're going to move the needle like that, you got to do it with a guy that really makes sense. I mean, are you going to trade for Jimmy G now? Oh no! You're entertaining a Jimmy Garoppolo trade?
Here's what I think is going to actually
what?
Not a trade. Here's what I think actually is going to happen. Just because we were reading up on it before we came into the studio, but the 49ers have pretty much fucked this thing up in terms of they should have just probably moved Jimmy last year and dealt with it. But how do you argue with that when they get to the NFC Championship game? Anyway, I feel like he's going to get cut. I mean, he only got
That'd
one
be
year.
shocking.
Where
anybody
else can
want
he
him?
go? Where else can he go? He can go to Seattle, or he can go to Philadelphia, or where else is you can get a starting job right now?
Yeah.
Like the Falcons were so quick to sign Marcus Mariota rather than to trade Jimmy G. That pretty much tells you everything. I think the Colts had reportedly said like they didn't trust the medical evaluation. So to me, he's either incredibly cheap right now, probably either third or below, I would say, if you wanted to try and go trade him right now.
Yeah.
Or if he just gets cut outright, how much do you actually think he hits on the open market? 18, 20, 21, 22?
Not anymore.
Not making more than 24. He's not making more in this current contract.
Probably making like
I
12.
would absolutely go sign Jimmy Garoppolo if it's available. And if you can get him for a fifth or lower, yes.
Oh, no.
Why wouldn't you?
Let him get cut, and then let somebody else deal with him.
Just bring him in for a year. He's got 1 year on his deal. Who cares?
Give me Mayfield. Or not Mayfield, Minshew. I'd rather just keep Minshew.
Just
At
have all
that
three of them
point,
there.
yeah.
Keep Minshew. Why am I giving it because part of it is
All
the
right,
cap
that's fair,
space,
too.
because the cap
That's
space
fair.
is going to roll over. So if I'm going to have to spend $12 million to have Jimmy Garoppolo compete with Jalen Hurts, I'd rather do so many other things.
I would like somebody else other than Gardner Minshew to push Jalen Hurts. That's my point. Someone that's actually like, okay, that guy's been to 2 NFC Championship games. I got to know my shit. You just reverse the problem. He can't throw in the middle. Jimmy G can't throw or in the
Yeah.
He just,
he
can't throw in the middle, and he can't throw to the outside.
Yeah.
So you just 2 QB system, baby.
There we go.
It's back if Jimmy G comes around. I would be. You wouldn't, Taylor. You wouldn't entertain that at all.
I just don't see the point. Like Vince was saying, like Minshew's right there. Like it's probably a better guy at this point, right?
Yeah.
Upside. You have some semblance of upside.
Like, what's the difference between him and Jimmy G? Honestly,
Jimmy G's a lot prettier.
Is he? Is he? I'll fight you on that.
Actually, I don't know if there is that much.
But
Maybe that's
difference.
a poll. Who's prettier, Minshew or Jimmy Garoppolo?
yeah, Minshew's got the rugged vibe, the mustache.
the
Minshew
stash
belongs
and the
in
aviators.
Step Brothers.
He wears the same kind of sunglasses that you're wearing right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like Jimmy G belongs in like The Great Gatsby or something. That's the difference.
But Minshew's way more fun. We all know that.
Minshew.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. Jimmy G seems like he's got a streak in him. It's just like
He did date a porn star for
Yeah.
a little bit.
for a long time, actually.
Yeah.
For a decent amount of time. But like,
Well, Minshew looks like a porn star, so how's that?
it's true.
I don't know what the Eagles are doing. So if you can tell me and Vincent Taylor, I'd appreciate it. But I can tell you one thing I think all three of us agree on. They have swung and missed a lot in the first week. And I am tired of hearing this is the smart thing. If it's the smart thing, then what's the smart thing? What is the smart thing the Eagles are doing by delaying, not improving their team right now, which you have spent months planning? That's what I hate about this back of like, oh, no, they're okay. There's still time. Yeah, there's plenty of time to improve the team. The market's not great. You have a GM that's historically bad in the back half of the first round and beyond. What do you want me to get excited about? What's the plan? What's smart?
The only smart thing is you're not throwing ludicrous money at somebody because you're desperate, right? Like Christian Kirk.
You're not giving, like Hassan Reddick, you're not giving him a bunch of money.
The hatred for Hassan Reddick.
I don't hate him. He's an improvement on this team, but I'm just not being sold on here's 12 sacks.
Yeah,
not being sold on it.
For $15 million, I think it's fine, and he could be a great value. But like, are you going to pay what to convince Allen Robinson to play here instead of L.A.? You're going to pay him $17 million a year?
No, that's fine. But what's the smart thing? What is the smart thing the Eagles are doing by not signing Allen Robinson? By not?
Well, that's it. It's the only smart thing that they're doing is they're not so ludicrously overpaying to get people here for a team that now is not going to win anything. They're not gonna win a Super Bowl this year, you know? So why overpay now? You might as well go youth movement, 1-year contracts, you scrap whatever value you can get out of guys like Fletcher Cox, you see where it goes, and then next year you try to gear up again. Like the thing is, he's looking at this roster and how he wants to be aggressive and turn it into a contender. He's trying to level it up. It's just every single attempt went bad. So what can you do?
There
Nothing.
it is again, Taylor. The Danny Ainge. Well, they were in there.
They were.
Well, they tried.
They did.
Then up the fucking 16 and a half, 18 and a half. What do you got to do to get Allen Robinson
That's
here?
exactly what you don't do. That's the big. Then you're the Jets. Then you're the Jaguars. Like the Jaguars have spent more money than anybody in free agency over the last like 5-7 years. They don't win shit because they overpay all these guys that don't want to be there. Like you want to pay people that want to play for your team. You know, and if all these guys are saying no, then you're better off not overpaying them.
It's going to be a while then.
It's going to be a year.
It's going to be a couple
at least
years.
It's going to be at least a year
until there's a. Yeah, I guess that's why I'm so adamant about like. All right, here's where I'll wrap things up. If you think the Eagles are doing something smart here, I want to hear from you because I don't see it. 215-509-5833. Join our Discord at bellthebirdmen.com. I'm honestly asking. I don't know what the smart thing is. 2, if you want Josh Allen and if you want all this bullshit, then Malik Willis is the only guy that has a chance to be Josh Allen because he needs time or whatever that is to develop the other skills that he probably needs, pocket presence, the accuracy, whatever you want to throw on top of. That's your only opportunity is in this draft is to go get that. Otherwise, kick the can down the river, do this, put your hands over your eyes, and then just pray because that's what you're telling me to do.
Well, Vince liked an SEC quarterback.
Oh, he did.
I did.
And which SEC quarterback is that?
That is Matt Corral.
Oh, God.
Not as a first rounder. He's not a first rounder. But I like seeing a college guy that can just pull the trigger. He just says, "Yup, here's the play, here's the read. I'm throwing the ball, snap, fire. That's good with me."
Welcome to a Lane Kiffin offense.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to be here. It's very comfortable.
Yes.
It's a little dim. Oh no, I'm wearing sunglasses. But yeah, like if that was a guy that went for in the second round, fine. But honestly, and before, like we talked about this weeks ago, and to me, the idea of drafting a quarterback in the first round, I was like, I don't know. But like, I'm really warming up to Malik Willis. If you are trading up for a guy like him, I would be open to it right now.
They should have done Justin Fields a couple years ago.
Well, it was Fields or Smith.
And yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
You're the one saying, you've been yelling at me all offseason. Who cares if your quarterback can't throw it to him? You signed Devontae Adams. Who cares? Jalen Hurts is here. If you draft Justin Fields, we're not talking about any of this.
How good is Justin Fields right now, though?
Better than Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He's shown way better moments than Hurts.
He's got a killer arm,
no,
too.
he has way better moments than Hurts. Also, it's just, he didn't wow me last year because Chicago sucked. So I don't know what Justin Fields is yet. I'm not pining for Justin Fields yet. Do I think he's a better talent? Yes, but I'm not going to look back and go, we shouldn't have had Devontae Smith when I think Devontae Smith's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, that's the kind of talent he is. I don't regret that. But they got to find something.
That was your opportunity for Josh Allen. Malik now is your opportunity for Josh Allen. If you don't want to go that route, I'd really like to know what you're doing, Howie Roseman, other than just getting stone cold stiff-armed on everything that you thought was going to work out. And I'm not blaming Howie. I just want to point this out. This is what happens when you lose your front office guys moments before free agency happens. That's why they're pissed. Howie is mad as hell, and you can feel it. I'm still here 4 days later saying the same thing. Howie is pissed. You can tell.
Yeah.
If you think this is going according to their plan, please text us. I don't, because what's the plan in your mind?
Oh, come on. They were dying for that Zach Pascal signing.
I would rather punch myself in the face than ever have to talk about Zach Pascal again.
How about this then? Jordan Love in front of the Love Park sign.
I'm back. With a John t-shirt on.
Yeah.
There we go. Done and done.
John Love.
Vince Quinn, Taylor Credatus, your final thoughts as we roll out here?
Yeah, well, they signed, Zach Pascal. They did it. Which, hey, if you signed a Colt, there's a Colt left on the market, John. I'm just saying there's a Colt left on the market any day now.
Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack.
Everything's forgiven for me if you trade Miles Sanders. Taylor Credatus, your final thoughts before we roll out here, buddy?
God, I forgot about Miles Sanders. almost as quickly as I forgot about J-Jaw.
The touchdown, the end zone, forgot about him too. So yeah,
bam.
So we will catch up on episode, I believe, 77 when we see you next for episode 76. I am John Barchard. That is Vince Quinn. Of course, for Taylor Credatus, we will all have some very important news. Well, I mean, like within the week, because we're changing places.
Yeah.
Where? We'll just have to tune in and find out. We'll see you later, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Bell the Birdmen. Okay, bye.
Bye.